early 80s, late 70s. And I had been chairing the Public Service Committee for a few years, and we were having a really tough time because we could never eliminate the pro bono backlog. And we had wonderful volunteers, but there just weren't enough of them. And so it got to the point that we were at about 6 or so weeks wait time before people could even see an attorney. And we decided to reach out to the bar and do something special. So what we did was we announced to the whole bar we were having a special pro bono call to solve the 300 plus backlog that we had. And we did it. And it was successful. And we got publicity for it. We got in the newspapers for it. And you know what happened after that? We got more people wanting legal services because they read about us in the newspaper. So within a month or two, we had another 300 case backlog. And it was like, oh, now what do we do? And we worked for the longest time. I gave Sandy a long time ago a list of 21 different things we tried as a committee to try and help deal with the pro bono problem and solving it. And finally, we came up with the idea that we would go to the bar and talk about a resolution that every lawyer would be required to do 2 cases. It might have been 3 initially, and or they would have to make a contribution toward the legal services programs. And I can't remember the exact amount back then, but there was an amount, and it was high enough that there was incentive for them to just do the cases instead. And that worked. And it was quite successful. And then from there were a whole bunch of programs launched, I guess all of which you still have. I know we worked with the custody program and the conciliation program and came up with clinics and things like that really worked very well. But so the bar has its meeting where they're going to vote, a membership meeting where they're going to vote on this resolution. Now, before this, Judge Warren Morgan, who was president judge at the time, had offered one of the judges on the court to be a liaison with my committee, and that was Herb Schaffner, Judge Schaffner. And so he educated the panel of the judges on what was coming up at the next bar meeting, and they all came to the meeting. And I didn't know this was going to happen. Usually, the judges sit at 1 or 2 tables, when we have a general membership meeting, and instead, per their agreement or Judge Morgan's order, I don't know which, they all spread out and sat. Choke up.
Oh, Jeff.
I choke up a little bit about it. They sat at different tables. And so we had the vote, and there were about all but 4 or 5, I counted 3 for sure, but there may have been 5 people did not vote for the resolution, which was really a surprise. And the funny thing was, the next day I got a call from Judge Morgan, and he said, Jeff, you know the names of the lawyers who didn't vote for the resolution. And frankly, with the assistance of some other people on my committee, we had talked about it a little bit, although we were mainly surprised that there were so few. And I happen to know at least 3 of them. And I mentioned them to the judge. And the day after that, I got a call from a really angry lawyer who apparently had been clerk previously, at some point previously, for Judge Morgan. And apparently Judge Morgan called the people whose names I gave him. I didn't know he was going to do that. There was no conspiracy or anything, but it got me in trouble for a while. But on the other hand, the program was launched. It was very successful. It eventually went statewide. It became the model program for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania Bar Association.